two exhausts, GTE, and up in the front somewhere is a battery. Sorry, it's not up the front. It's under those seats there. But talking about seats, how cool are these seats? So this is the GTE with the tartan seat option. Let me just jump in a second and I'll show you. If you go for a Golf GTI with these tartan seats, which you should, this is red. But as we're in a GTE, which is a hybrid eco warrior super duper machine, you've got blue for the eco. And on the wheel as well, you've got blue stitching. In a GTI, you've got red. And here it says GTE instead of GTI. So when you sit here, it's a lovely place to sit. Honestly, I think if you come and sat in one of these cars, I wouldn't go for the leather. I would definitely go for these seats. These seats aren't heated. I don't actually know if you can get these tartan seats with the heated seat combination, or whether you have to upgrade to leather, I don't know. But I think these seats are fantastic and I absolutely love them. They're really comfortable, they're supportive, and they look fantastic. And I think the blue kind of matches the spirit of this car and the personality of it being, you know, a bit eco-ish, if you like. And the eco bit is the interesting thing with this car. If you run it in GTE mode, which is that button there, you've got 200 and something, 204 I think horsepower, 0 to 60 7.4 seconds. It has a slight delay. If you floor this car, it feels like it takes a breath before it goes, which is quite frustrating. And also, if you've got it in GTE mode, you can run it in manual with the flappy paddle gears, but you don't actually have a rev counter. So you've got this dial on the left here, which tells you all about your eco stuff, whether you're harvesting or whether you're using battery power. The boost bit here is when you sort of go into extra petrol power. So if you put your foot down in any mode, the petrol engine will kick in, it will go into boost. So it doesn't actually have a rev counter, which is disappointing because that means you never really know where you are in the rev range. And if you combine that with the fact that if you put this into manual mode, you've got a 6-speed gearbox, but you can never really manipulate it to be a full manual. So for example, you're coming out of a mid-speed corner, you kind of upshift to a quick shift up into third. If you put your foot down coming out the corner, it will kick down back into second, which unbalances the car, which is a real shame because the handling of this car is excellent. I'd actually say in terms of ride quality, it is fantastic. I did about 47 miles yesterday, all fast cross country, A roads and B roads, and this car was brilliant. You know, it hasn't quite got the performance of a GTI, but what it does, it's supple and it kind of rides really well. I also had an e-Golf. The comparison between the e-Golf will do about 120 miles real world range. That's fully battery, there's no petrol, but it doesn't feel nice. It doesn't have these seats. I don't know if I've mentioned it, but I really like these seats. The e-Golf just has some clothy, nasty, horrible seats, and it doesn't feel premium, apart from when you buy it, and it costs like £35,000, which is ridiculous for a Golf. I think this is about the same actually. I think this is 35k, and I think the GTI is probably about the same. Obviously depends on what options. I'm not sure if these tartan seats are an option. If they are, get them. If they're standard, don't upgrade to leather, get these seats. I think these seats is the best thing about the Golf GTE actually. What else can I tell you? Miles per gallon, I can do 15 miles on this on a battery. I've tried fairly hard to be really driving Miss Daisy-ish, but even if I do that, I'm still only getting 15 miles out of the full battery on this car. My commute to work is 10 miles. So actually what I've done this week, I've gone into the office a couple of days, I've driven in 10 miles, left it on charge all day, driven it home 10 miles. You know, I've commuted without using a spot of petrol. And that's quite cool. I think the downside to that is when you do want to enjoy yourself, I'm pointing to the GTE button. This car is about 204 horsepower. It's quick. It's not hybrid in trainers, that would be unfair. The car's better than that, but it's still not GTI performance, and I'm not sure a payoff of a 15 to 30 mile fully electric range is a big enough payoff to be able to go full beans but only have 0 to 60 in sort of 7.4 seconds. It's quick enough for most people and it will keep up with most things on the road, but to be fair, 7.4 seconds, most things kind of do 0 to 60 in 7.4 seconds, if not quicker these days. So I wish it was a little bit quicker, but having said that, the ride on this is fantastic. For me personally, when I think about the three Golfs, the GTE, the e-Golf and the GTI, let's not talk about the GTD because that's dirty diesel. If I had to buy one of those, I'd go to the VW dealership and I would buy the e-Golf. And just as I was handing in the money, I would suddenly think, actually, I think I want a Golf GTE because of those seats. But then I'd see that they've got a Golf GTI in the showroom that's also got these seats, but with red instead of blue. I would actually buy the Golf GTI. I don't think the MPG is that bad. And I think, you know, if it's around the same price, the Golf GTI just offers a level of performance that the GTE can't offer. But that all depends on what you're looking for. Because if you're looking for a great car that can do 15 miles without using any petrol, then this is a great car to get. If you want something that can do kind of 130 mpg, if you go for a really long drive, this will do it. I'll just show you its nose, because that's its little nose, and that's where you plug in your electric. Your electric goes in there. Your shell goes in there, and in here, that's where you put all your cables. Now this is a real faff, and I'll tell you the disappointing thing about it. Underneath here, that's a petrol tank. So it doesn't have any sort of secret kind of compartment. That is your petrol tank. So therefore, you have to have these in the boot. Now, in real world, that is a bit of a faff. There you go. GTE. I'm not sure what other facts I can tell you really. It's a good car. It's got look GTE on the side there. Look at that. That's nice, isn't it? Yeah, very nice. And it's got the wheels. In comparison to the e-Golf, this looks much better. I have to say that, you know, this looks like a nice place to be. The other comparison, I think in Golf GTI, this is all red. It's blue here. It matches the seats, you see. Get the seats. Whereas the e-Golf is much more basic, but the e-Golf has actually got better performance, I would say, up to about 40-50. I think the e-Golf is actually quicker than this. Not 60, I think the e-Golf is 9.5. It kind of starts to lose its zap after about 45-50, whereas this has kind of got a bit more pull to it. All worth trying. I think if you were looking for a mid-range performance car that had good if it had good economy, I don't think you'd be disappointed with this. But I'd say have a look at the GTI whilst you were there. Cheers.